Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I always say all three because whether you're joining us live or later on demand, we want to welcome you to another Thrive in 2025 session of the Insight webinar series. We're so excited to bring an all-star team member together with you to talk personally while spotlighting the advantages of building a community around you. I'm confident during our time together today, you'll see how the advantages supplied in partnership with ES and their quality vendors can provide shelter from any storm by helping you, your business, and your bottom line. My name is Leah Shaver, and I'll serve as host and moderator of our conversation. In addition to hosting events with ES, I own and operate NTI, the National Transportation Institute, where we serve information and support to folks that employ or contract with professional drivers or work with companies that do. I serve on the board of directors for the Next Generation in Trucking Association, and I work as a talk radio host on SiriusXM's Road Dog Trucking Radio. I want to thank you for your part in keeping our country moving. Thank you to those of you who work from sunup to sunset and all the time before, after, and in between, but especially taking the time to join us today. Joining me is David Withers. He's the Senior Director of Operations, expert in all things operations, recruiting, contractor success, and no stranger to the mic we put before him today. David, welcome back. Thanks for agreeing to join us today.
Absolutely. Thanks, Leah. Thanks for having me. And thanks to all the great truck drivers out there moving America. We appreciate it.
What a thing to safely deliver every day. We talk about so many different things that we have and need and have a list for ongoing, but none of that is made possible without safe delivery every single day. I think we're even going to talk about that in today's conversation.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to keep in mind that whether you are joining us live or on demand, we are always taking questions in the chat. Our webinar series is only one part of the Insight 2025. We also produce the Insight 2025 podcast series. Through that podcast, we offer listeners an in-depth look at key issues and opportunities in the trucking industry. To listen to the podcast series and get the latest news on Insight 2025, you can visit successintrucking.com. In this edition of the Insight 2025 webinar series, though, with Expediter Services and David Withers, Senior Director of Operations, we'll be exploring how comprehensive support and the advantages that trucking business owners and aspiring entrepreneurs receive as part of the ES community and an operational partnership with exclusive motor carriers and vendors ensures that you will never stand alone. David, let's just agree that things haven't been booming like they were in the last few years, and maybe booming in a way that we all feel just ongoing glory and celebration for that delivery every day, not only from the community around us, but the community from within. So when we look at how to handle the industry in this state, I think one thing that you and I agree we have in common is that there should be a priority to focus on what you can control. So as someone's looking to be ultimately successful, to be profitable, to stay safe, what are the things that come to mind when we look at what we can do to focus on what you can control in your business?
Yeah, Leah, I mean, that's really the most important thing, especially in the environment that we're currently in. It's been no bones about it. It's been a tough market for the past couple of years. And the only way to really secure yourself and make it through this kind of environment is to control what you can control. Retail and restaurants and things of that nature, there's 3 L's they live by when they build and start a business, and that's location, location, location. We've all heard that. And I kind of feel like that in the trucking industry, it's 3 P's. It's prepare, prepare, prepare. You've got to be prepared. You prepare for the storms, prepare for even the good times and the good days. We still got to be prepared and to have preparation. Ben Franklin said it best: failing to prepare is preparing to fail. So preparation is key. And how do we prepare, and how do we control those things? You can do that through expenses. Fuel and insurance are some just right top of mind. Maintenance. How do you help with your maintenance, pre-trip, post-trips, making sure that you're on top of your maintenance side in your truck. There's no way that anytime that you get ready to go out on the road, I mean, you prepare from the time you leave or before you leave. You can do that through food preparation, preparing how you're going to live on the road and how you're going to operate. Leah, I travel through the week. The only way I can do that successfully is I prepare. I prepare before I leave. I'm going to make sure I'm not living out of a corner, market. I'm going to make sure I get groceries before I leave. Prepare that way. We can do that on the truck as well. Um, you know, Preparation is great. Your health as well. Insurance, staying active when you're down on your downtime. There's multiple ways to keep preparation and to do that and to help cut cost and help you out on the road in trying times.
You started with the big expenses, but you drilled into all the ways that the small things can really help keep you ready for the road. And I find it very hard to even think of one thing that you missed there. We could drill down more into them, but that was a pretty good list. And I don't know, I'm ready to go. You made me feel prepared to hit the road.
Absolutely.
Maybe that's why you're the guy in the position that you're in. So we talked about fuel, talked about insurance, health insurance, and went further into overall health. Safety. I think is one thing coming off of the recent CVSA road check. I hosted a show that on the day of the launch, actually, of the 72-hour blitz, and drilling into all the things that they look at when they're inspecting during the blitz is one thing. But it occurs to me as you're talking about being prepared that really all the hype about the 72-hour road check really is just what a professional driver has to do every single day. Everything that you listed is exactly what someone needs to do to be prepared to be inspected at any point. If you are pulled in any way, to have all of those things set up for success on the road, if you will. So excellent list and way to hit home on the preparation. We're going to find a way to market those 3 Ps, I think. So talking about safety and just keeping your record clean in general, from a recruiting standpoint and an ongoing retention standpoint at any motor carrier, it seems like in this market, one thing that is common amongst all motor carriers is they are really tightening up on safety requirements and taking a look at those as first, last, and always. So everything from what's on your MVR, what in terms of accident history, what's on your PSP, anything you just want to touch on in terms of like the general safety record for an individual driver?
I mean, it's obviously the big things. I mean, speeding, unsafe driving, accidents, drug and alcohol. I mean, those are all the big important things that motor carriers look at. But there's also, there's little things as well. The little things just those are the ones that can creep up on you and build up and cause your record to really grow. I mean, roadside inspections, just a little small roadside inspection. You may get a roadside inspection and only get one little small minor violation in your mind. And a lot of operators out there feel like that, one minor infraction, they had a pretty good inspection. Well, those minor infractions can build up and over time, obviously, cause your PSP to increase. And motor carriers are going to look at that and they're going to see those items and they're going to make a decision on that, whether they want you or whether they don't want you. Um, you know, Again, back to the little things. I mean, coming off safety week, as you said, these are just things that truck drivers do on a daily and weekly basis. If you're not doing the small things, the big things usually aren't the ones that get you. Most operators out there are not going down the road, 100 miles per hour, carrying freight, and driving erratically. But if you don't walk your truck, check your lug nuts, bump your tires, check your brakes. I mean, just those little things. Those are the things that could cause greater inspection infractions as well as accidents and incidents on the road and on the highway.
Well, let's dive into more of the motor carriers that ES has relationships with. There are primary motor carriers that professional drivers have an option of working with, and I think that that's primarily due to how solid these companies are in general and in terms of their recognition and their safety records. But it's also in terms of preference and the fact that not every driver is looking for exactly the same type of work, and not all work fits every individual business owner. So let's talk a little bit more about the motor carriers that you operate with.
Yeah, so we partner with FedEx Custom Critical, Forward Air, and also with Panther Premium Logistics, a service of Arc Best. We've done business with most of those for long-standing period of time, but they offer a wide range of things. You've got typical expedite or traditional expedite freight, all the way over to LTL freight, hauling anything and everything. Car parts, motor, auto parts, and just general freight in general. So, all of them have different requirements, different, driving requirements in terms of experience, as well as safety. But for the most part, I mean, most every motor carrier out there does pre-employment and things of that nature, and the safety side of it pretty similarly. But it really just comes down to most times it comes down to experience.
Well, in addition to motor carriers and having options there, there's also options as it pertains to equipment. There's an option if you just want to buy a truck outright, but there's also try before you buy, and there's a few options in between. Do you want to talk about the few different selections that someone can make if they do want to become an independent contractor, an owner operator, or grow their fleet in partnership with ES?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the financing side is, I mean, all these are connected to our partner motor carriers. You've got the ability to do a direct finance if you've got credit, good credit and money down. You can finance a truck. We've also got a non-traditional lease purchase option with one of our partner motor carriers. It's a great option if you don't have the available credit or the available money down. It gets you into the ownership opportunity quickly, and through a lease that's again non-traditional, builds equity, gives you the ability to own the truck outright at the end. So most lease purchases don't do that. They're not set up to for you to succeed and for your business to be successful. They're set up for you to basically fail, and hopefully somebody else come in behind you and pick up that lease, and then they fail, and it's just a inevitable cycle, unfortunately. And then we've also got our rental program through our path to ownership program, through our rental equipment that you can come in, you can rent a truck through us, and you can put that with the partner motor carrier, operate, and over time through our path to ownership program, if you want to become an owner operator, we will look at a set of metrics for you. We look at your attitude, your aptitude, your work ethic, your work history, and how much revenue you generate. And with those three, metrics, we look at the entire picture. It tells us how you're going to operate as a business owner, and hopefully successfully. And we feel like those metrics transfer to a successful business owner, and then we finance you on a truck of your own, and you become an outright owner as well. So those are your three options.
It seemed like more. You have a great way of painting a picture, and in my mind, I saw this puzzle that we're going to have to work with design on creating, all that leads to that outcome of success that every individual is looking for. In terms of equipment buying, maintenance is another key metric here, and trucks are being retained longer, but they're also maintained better. ES has support and advantages there as well to help minimize cost and make sure that maintaining the equipment better is an easy solution for a contractor. Do you want to just mention a few of those solutions there in terms of, I think there's discounts on tires and service and et cetera.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a parts and maintenance program We do a few different things. So we've got an R&M program through our non-traditional lease purchase that utilizes all these discounts as well. But if you own your own truck and lease that on through one of the motor carriers, or if you're in the rental program as well, there's an R&M program, and it's giving you those deep discounts on parts, maintenance. We have a national shop network with discounts with some great partners with Love's, TA, and Petro. And then we've also got a national tire program as well. So there's multiple ways to save and to increase your revenue and reduce your expenses through our program.
Okay, so we talked about deep savings at the pump. We talked about savings on equipment, on tires, on service, touched on health insurance and the importance, and also just maintaining your health. Talked about truck financing, advocacy. Maybe, if you can touch on that, in terms of your team and operations and service coordinators. One big part of what they do is advocacy. If someone is not connecting on something, if they're looking for more of something, if they need a bridge between themselves and the motor carrier, advocacy is a big part of the relationships and the solutions at ES. Do you want to touch on that?
Yeah. So advocacy is huge for us. We feel like that the best run business is one that's healthy, the ones that communicates, and ones that's connected to their business, quite honestly. And we want to stay connected to every truck. We have a group of folks in our operations department. One, we have an onboarding care team where they're there for you when you start. There's always that period when you start with a new company or with a new program that you don't know everything, obviously. So when you come in, we have an onboarding team that's there to kind of hold your hand, walk you through it, help you if you have any questions. They don't hound you every day. They don't call you, constantly. But if you've got something that you need, if you've got a question about something, contact our office, reach out. Those folks are there to help you. We've also got service coordinators. They're kind of the next tier or next layer in from the outside in. They're the next layer that helps you work and communicate directly with the motor carriers. And we all know that everybody's has a bad day at times. I have a bad day. Leah has a bad day some days. And Lord knows if I had a team of folks standing behind me that could help communicate sometimes, it might be more beneficial to me in my everyday life. But as a truck driver, you get out there and you have frustrating days. You've gone through traffic. You've gone through weather. You've had to deal with sitting at a customer, trying to get unloaded, trying to get your next load. There's all the frustrations that happen. And sometimes those can boil over and cause you to just not be the best version of yourself when you're trying to talk to the motor carrier. Call us. That's what our service coordinators are there for. Reach out to us. Let us be that buffer and talk through it. Help us help you as well. And then we've also got settlements coordinators that helps if you have any questions on a settlement question. They're there. They're that extra layer that helps you there to walk you through that. And then of course we got a maintenance team. If you have any breakdowns after hours, during hours, we've got maintenance in our office here. We've got an after hours crew, roadside assistance as well. So we pretty much run the gamut of anything and everything that could possibly happen to you, or the needs that you've got. We've got it covered through our back office support. And just additionally, just to kind of add on to the health side that you were talking about, Leah, we've also got a great program that we add under our program, which is our corporate chaplains of America. So it's not just about your physical health, but it's also about your mental health. We just want to make sure that folks out there operating on the road, operating your business, there's tough times. There's days that you go through, things with your family. You may get a phone call that's rough. Pick up the phone, utilize our chaplains, and they'll walk you through it and help you mentally as well. So.
Shelter from the storm, it sounds like to me. I see a total umbrella as you're painting the picture of what it's like to be within this community. And as an entrepreneur myself, I can tell you that, uh, one of the greatest gifts of this community is feeling just that, feeling like there's a network of people not only around you, but underneath, all around, just, a full network of support. Um, One of the things that came to mind as you were talking about the operational support is just general success right now in trying times. It seems to me that there's one key in addition to all of the support of the community. And we talked about this in terms of showing up and doing the work. What is the work and how's that defined? In the case of a professional driver, it isn't just safely delivering. It's all of the things that it takes to have the truck ready for the road, have you and your mind and your body ready for the road. But there's also just in terms of volume today, in terms of where you're operating, in terms of balancing home time and time out on the road. All of this, put together, there are some keys to success that we see with folks that are generating the most revenue, that are taking home better checks and being able to supply not only money to support the business but to support the family. What is that one key that you think is really helping them to maintain that success today?
Well, I mean, it goes back to my days playing football, and I had a coach and a mentor at that point that used to tell me sometimes I would want to do things my way in terms of snapping the ball as a center, so snapping the ball, exploding out, trying to get to my block. And at times I just wanted to do it my way. And my coach, turned me around, grabbed my helmet, just said, "Trust the process, Withers." And that's key. You've got to just trust the process. So I see a lot of owners and just operators out there in general that will get in the truck and they feel like that it's them against the world. And I promise you that sometimes it is. Sometimes it is, us against the world. But I assure you that the motor carrier, they're trying to get their customer service, they're trying to get their freight moved, and they want to do it as efficiently and successfully as possible. They're not there, in my humble opinion, they're not there um, to cause you any grief or issues. They're there to try to help you get you loaded and get you onto your next destination and get you loaded again. So you just have to trust that process. Be available. There's no other way to get freight if you're not available. You got to be available. Be out there and be available. You got to be willing to accept freight. Sometimes it's not the best freight. Sometimes it may not be the best paying freight. It may not be exactly where you want to go. But I promise you, if you just trust the process, trust that person that's there and they can see the big picture, they're going to get you to the right place and get you loaded and get you set up for the next best load and next best successful, revenue point. Be on time. One thing I see a lot at the motor carrier level, dealing with some of our motor carriers, is that service failures is a huge thing this day and age. When freight gets tight, and and we're in that market when freight gets tight. Um, One thing they want you to ensure you do is make sure you service that customer. They're always wanting the customer service, but I just know there's a spotlight this day and age, in our current environment, on service failures and providing proper service. Just get out there, get to your destination as quickly and safely as possible. If you have to, here's one other key, is if you have to stop, if you have to delay, if it's a traffic delay, communicate. There's nothing better than communication. Jeff Tagger says, there's no better place to be than to have a good understanding. And you just be in a position where you communicate between yourself and the motor carrier, so that you can have a good understanding of where you are, and they can have a good understanding of where you're at as well, so that they know where the freight's at, and they know where that you're going to be there. Maybe not on time, but at least you're going to get there and get the freight there safely delivered.
I want to add to that. I worked at a motor carrier for many years, and I can't tell you how many times I encouraged drivers that were discouraged about communicating. Communication is the beginning of an understanding, is what I used to say. And there's so much related to trusting the process, and all of the things that you said are components of that tie in with communication, and so many things that I think sometimes are left unsaid. When things are left unsaid, it leaves room for interpretation, for overthinking. And what do we have more windshield time usage of than overthinking? So communication can help with so many keys to that. And I'm glad that you brought it up. I think that we can all see how the advantages that are supplied in partnership with ES and their quality vendors provide shelter from any storm by helping drivers, by helping businesses, and of course, their bottom line. But I think it's really key that we focus on trusting the process, says David Withers, Senior Director of Operations with ES. David, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Leah.
Really appreciate it, and all of your sage wisdom. And we want to thank you for attending. If you're not currently in touch with us, ES hopes that you'll take the time to join their community in a variety of ways. Join us at successintrucking.com. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay well, and connected, as with ES, you never stand alone.